question for Trent from the Kolob Society. Some say
that's from far away.
Some say Joseph Smith's faults mean he was not a prophet. Do the faults of the Catholic Church leaders invalidate the authority of the Catholic Church? Why or why not?
My argument was not that his faults prove he is not a prophet. When you look at the prophets in Scripture, many of them are flawed. Look at Jonah, for example. My argument was, if we are assessing Joseph Smith's testimony, we have to assess the man's character. We have to assess, is this person an honest individual? And so one of the examples that I gave showing that he was not honest was that he purposefully hid that if these plural marriages were such a good thing, he certainly seemed to go intensively to hide them from his wife, Emma, when he went to seal himself with other people, like Emily and Eliza Partridge, for example. Or you had people like Oliver Cowdery calling. So this is not just anti-Mormons. I'm citing Cowdery, and I'm citing others who know Joseph himself, like Fair, the Mormon apologist, saying, yeah, you're right. He wasn't really honest about this. It makes us question, well, are there other things he wasn't entirely honest about?
Okay.
Yeah, so first of all, most of the things that Trent is talking about, even the stuff from the church or Fair Mormon and stuff, they're talking about the allegations against him. The reality is that we know very little about what actually happened, and there's all these allegations. So they're talking about, yeah, there were allegations that potentially that Joseph might have lied to his wife, but that doesn't mean that he actually did. Unless Trent can provide the specific time and place and exactly what was said, then we don't know what Joseph actually said to his wife. We do know that Joseph was involved in sealings, at the very least, to multiple women. But again, just relying on these allegations without providing the very specific things that he did and when, again, it's just the rumor mill that's been going on for forever. And ultimately, I don't think that that's super compelling.
How can you be sure Joseph Smith was a true prophet when later prophets who held his same position as prophet can outright teach heresy? For example, Brigham Young's Adam God revelation.
So you'd fire right back and be like, how can you guys believe in the Catholic Church when they burned people at the stake and expelled all the Jews from Spain and other places? I mean, the same thing can be leveled against the Catholic Church. The reality is we don't have any standard of infallibility like Catholics do. We believe that prophets are men. We believe that they are, as the Bible or as the Catechism teaches, like when you're talking about Scripture, like true authors. We believe that these are human beings who are inspired by God to lead us, but that they can make mistakes. Now, the nature of those mistakes, and any one of those, you have to get into the specifics, but ultimately, I would caution Catholics about using the argument, hey, your leaders did things that seemed bad, therefore your church must be false. That's a bad line of reasoning. And I don't do that with Catholicism. I actually have a lot of respect for Catholicism, despite the very checkered past of Catholic leaders, including things like, if we're talking about sex, fathering illegitimate children, like popes fathered illegitimate children. They fathered incestuous illegitimate children with daughters and with sisters. I mean, it gets ugly. And so I kind of don't want to go down that route. And I think hey, let's not throw mud and just assume just because a leader did something that was wrong, that's means you just got to throw the religion out the window.
Do you want to hear that question again, Trent?
No, I see where he's coming from. So I have a few points. I'll work backwards in the response to the question. One, I think it's a little interesting that Jacob seems to be a lot more open to allegations of impropriety among Catholic clerics than allegations that are made against Joseph Smith and others, unless they can be backed up with a surveillance camera seeing exactly what happened, don't seem to be taken as seriously. Number two, I do think this comes, the Adam God doctrine, I agree, actually. I'm going to help Jacob here a little bit. Not everything that the Mormon Church, not even the Catholic Church has taught rises to the level of an infallible teaching or an enduring teaching. There are things that Brigham Young taught that may have been speculation that don't form official Mormon doctrine, like the idea that the God of this world was Adam, for example. There's a speculation, but it's not an official teaching. So they shouldn't be held to that. You need to compare official teachings to official teachings. However, I am concerned about a fallibility problem in Mormonism. You say, well, about blacks in the priesthood, or the change about the teaching in polygamy, or this or that. If Jacob says, well, we don't have infallibility, then that says, well, could anything change? Could two men get married in the Mormon church? If you say, no, they could not, It seems like you're appealing to some kind of an infallibility you wish was there.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do us a favor, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the video, like, and subscribe.